More than 7.3 million single and multifamily homes are located in areas along the Gulf and Atlantic coast that could be affected by a storm surge if a hurricane or local tropical storm were to hit. It's Hurricane Preparedness Week, and with less than a month until the season starts, let's bring in home improvement expert Danny Lipford to talk about how to get your home ready. All right, Danny, great seeing you, buddy. Let's talk a little bit about preparing your home for hurricane season. A lot of folks certainly out and about at the hardware stores and whatnot. What do you need to do to get in there to get this thing prepared?
Well, you really need to do a lot of planning, of course. Plan on what you're going to do around your house with all of your patio furniture and the kids' toys, because they will become projectiles when the storms really start hitting. Also, you want to make sure you know what you're going to do about your windows and covering your windows. And if you're out at the home center, you need to think about getting that plywood now before it's a big rush right before a storm. And also make sure your home can manage all of the heavy rains that are part of any hurricane season.
All right, so let's talk about that water damage, because once water gets in, and if you lose power and you can't get it to evaporate, the list is endless as to what happens there. What can you do to prevent water damage?
Well, I'll tell you what, Jim, every time I'm on with you, I talk about gutters and downspouts, and they're so important. You can see the gutters I have here, the downspouts here, but what you may notice, this is a little larger than most residential guttering, because I found over the years, if you size it up just a little bit, it'll help a lot in keeping the gutters nice and clean, and when the real heavy rains hit, it can handle all of that rain. So very important with your downspouts being all out where they should be. Also, even though my porch is covered here, you know how that horizontal rain will hit a window or a door and it can find its way in. So you need to make sure your weather stripping, your threshold, all is in very, very good shape. And of course, it doesn't hurt to have a tarp around in a closet somewhere in case you do spring a leak somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Very important you get those windows and doors covered. Let's talk about other preparations that people may not think so much about.
Well, I tell you what, there's a big confusion about what to do about your windows. Taping the windows up? No, that's old school. You don't do that anymore. But here's something I did on this house. I actually built these shutters, and you can see it's two thicknesses of 3/4 inch wood. And these are actual functional shutters that I can close and put a little bar that I have over it, and that can protect the windows pretty well. Of course, impact-resistant windows are great, but boy, they are expensive. Of course, plywood is the most traditional way, but most people think of 1/2 inch plywood, but you really should go with 5/8 inch plywood to really protect the windows and doors as they should. But this particular home that I built for my family is a gold fortified standard house, which means it's one of the safest homes you can build. Saves me a lot on my insurance, but this is what I had to put in order to comply with that. This is actually the same material that bulletproof vests are made out of, Kevlar, and this clips right over all of the screw studs that I have in, and these screws actually go in all the way to the framing, into the stud, so this will keep anything from hitting and being a problem, and it's so easy to install. So this is the way I went with this particular way. And you need to plan all of this before it's too late, because it is miserable if you're in line at the home center trying to buy a few pieces of plywood.
Danny Lipford, some great tips there. We're not just putting metal over the windows anymore. We'll be right back.